Hi, this is David, um, and this is Weekly Review. I decided it's weird to keep referring to myself as Dave. I know this channel is called Self Improvement Dave, but my name's David, and I'm sick of my boss, Dave, trying to tell me what to do. Just kidding. Anyways, the point is, I've been thinking about what to do for Monday or Wednesday for a while, and I've come up with two trains of thoughts, I guess. I might do both, might reconfigure them. One is Memory and Media Monday. I don't know, maybe Memory and Media Monday, where I just basically things from the past, whether it's movies I've watched, books I've read, especially recently, and also just going over, memories of the past, you know, seeing how that shapes up into the future. It's a little unclear on how the second part's gonna go, but I thought, you know, I like alliteration, so stick with M's, right? We'll see how that goes. Anyways, the other one is Wednesday, which I thought of something like weekly review. Weekly is little, I don't know, play on words, I guess, where it's weekly because, every week, but also weekly where I go over my weaknesses, how I'm working on them, stuff like that, things I can improve on, things to address. But also legitimately just, reviewing stuff straight up, products. I've been thinking about, you, you know, as you like buy stuff, right? You accumulate a lot of this shit, and I've been trying to literally, clean up my room, and I've been, selling stuff, donating stuff, just giving it away, whatever, recycling it. I don't know. But, in the whole process, you gotta figure out what you actually need, what you don't need, and some stuff you remember, like, hey, like, why did I ever buy this? This was, not something I was ever going to use. Why did I ever buy it? And you go back and look, and you're like, okay, some of it's real cheap, so I get that, right? It's $5. Okay, I thought it'd be useful, and if not, it was just $5 lost. And then some things you're like, okay, wait, I spent how much for this? $50, $100, and it's just a waste, right? Um, then you got some things that are just great. And one of the things though, I mean, this isn't any more special than just going on like Amazon or any other website and reading the reviews there. But I think video reviews are kind of nice. And it's kind of just a good bit of appreciation for the things I have in my life. Yes, I was actually thinking of this because primarily my shoes from last year. Um, I uh, I have three pairs now of the same pair of shoes. They are the Saucony Versafoam Cohesion 12s. And last year I put a lot of miles onto my first pair. Absolutely loved it. Just bought it on a kind of a whim. I was reading up on, you know, best shoe deals for 2020, and it mentioned, this pair of shoes. And I think back then it was like 40, $50. And I was like, all right, I need a good pair of shoes, and it seems like a good deal. And it turned out to be the best shoe deal I've ever had, actually, because I was able to log, I think, 1,000 miles on them, which is not recommended at all. And now they're my backyard shoes, where just, if I'm in the backyard and I'm not doing any crazy running, I just literally need something below my feet so they don't get dirty. Then I have the ones from this year, which I've put, I think, 500 miles into. They're kind of coming apart a little bit. And I also bought a third pair, which I haven't touched yet. And it's just cool to see the progression of, you know, how they are from start to finish. But, they provide quite a few miles. I think most running shoes, you're only supposed to run, what, like 200 to 500 miles in them. And the two I've used so far have both, cleared the bar in that one. So, really great bang for the buck. And yeah, I just figured I'd start reviewing stuff that's been in my life that I've been around long enough for me to review. some people review stuff and it's like absolutely terrible. They like some reviews online are, you know, the product never came. The shipper, was non-responsive. 1 out of 10 on this product, and it's like, dude, I don't think you know how websites work. Get off the internet, right? Yeah. And then you have ones that are like, it came in the wrong color and it's spelled funny. 2 out of 5. Or people who are like, oh, this works great. I tried it once and it's fine. It's like, that's also not how this works. You have to use it for its intended purpose. You gotta know what it was designed for, right? Some products are designed to be cheap and short term. And if it serves its purpose, right, you gotta give it a decent rating. Um, like if I'm not gonna rate a McDonald's the same way I rate, like, I don't know, Shake Shack or something like that. Um, yeah, right. Like McDonald's is supposed to be cheap, and I mean, I guess they're both fast food, but one's supposed to be better than the other. I guess that's not the best comparison. You get what I mean. I wouldn't compare Olive Garden to a top tier Italian restaurant. How about that? An Olive Garden, if it serves its purpose, it's cheap and it's like, all right, good bang for the buck. It's a good rating. And then, a top tier restaurant, if it's supposed to be, fancy and costs a lot, great ambiance, but then the food is absolute shit, the service is bad, I'm gonna give a real shit rating. Anyways, at this point, I'm kind of rambling, but the point is, I think I want to review stuff that's been in my life long enough for me to actually give it a decent review. Um, Review what's been going on with my life. So it's again kind of a jumbled topic. But I'm not really against that. It's nice to have focus sometimes, but my natural thought process kind of doesn't focus too well. So maybe it's good to get out of my system, right? Just get a good ramble, a little weekly review on Wednesday, and maybe a media and memory sort of thing on Monday, where it's more focused on narratives, you know, how they shape who I am, how they shape a culture. Like, for example, uh, what's a good one? I was going to say Attack on Titan, but I don't really have any concrete thoughts about that right now. Great show, though. Um, Used to think it was kind of like a okay to good show, not great, but took to watching it actually again now that they're newer seasons. I think when I first watched it, there was only one, maybe 2 seasons coming out at the time, and now they are, if I remember correctly, they're halfway through season 4, aka the last season. And I watched it, all of it, all the episodes they've got out, and it is great. The writing is absolutely brilliant. Animation's sick. With the fight scenes, it's just it's kind of an interesting world build as well. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, like, in terms of like media review, an example would be like I was talking with a friend about this recently. Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, I think, has been a particularly good lesson for me in particular. Um, Forrest Gump, not to spoil too much of the movie. I mean, it's not a new movie by any means, so you know, you've probably seen it, but I never want to assume anyone's seen anything. Um, I don't believe in the, oh, you should have seen it after 5 years. Like, well, slow the fuck down. People might be new to movies. There are tons of movies people haven't watched that are old. Anyways, without giving away too much, the main character is incredibly dumb, but he just kind of trucks along. He's always willing to jump in the fray. He listens to the rules his mama told him, and he, zealously follows, you know, these philosophies his mom gave to him. And, everyone laughs at him. He's like, dumb as a door. What is this saying, actually? Dumb as a door knob? Dumb as a nail? I don't remember. Anyways, he's super dumb. Becomes very apparent real quick. but he tries really hard. Um, and he's very faithful to what he does, and he finds a good level of success. And that's really all I'm about to. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I really have to spoil. But I think the point is that a lot of people out there, and I consider myself kind of in this category, are not dumb, but we also don't succeed because we're too afraid to go out and try and fail, right? We don't commit our full being into it. And if you're like skilled or intelligent in some way, but you don't put that out there, I mean, it's a waste, right? Nothing's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you have a big ass hammer if you don't swing it, right? So yeah, just kind of, talking about like media like that, about like the value that characters like Forrest Gump bring, about the value of faith, commitment, consistency, right? These are just some. He's a simple dude and he just commits to these few things and it works. I mean, his life isn't perfect, but like he makes things work. And I think these are why, right? So, anyways, that's some of the basic idea I've got for Mondays. And yeah, Wednesdays are for reviews. I'm not sure what product I want to review first. Not going to review one today. Uh, Still kind of thinking about it. Just put an idea out there. And for Friday, I'm actually thinking of splitting it into two. One, get stuff out faster, but two, kind of bridge the divide I had about the conflict I had about, what I was going to talk about. Because on one hand, I want to talk about concepts and skills, lessons, kind of more like the liquidity video, like how does the stock market work, how to trade, how to set up retirement. So they're not tied down to necessarily a product or a company, um, but just, like a lesson here, lesson there, concept. And then on the other hand, I do want to promote or at least talk about different companies, websites, apps. I think so far I've only done NerdWallet, um, but I did want to give a review on things like Yada Savings, which is a lottery. It's a savings account with lottery tied to it. It's kind of addictive, or it's designed to be addictive, which is a little dangerous, and it's not perfect. But I think it's a great way to gamify savings, which is a valuable thing to have, and to promote, a bit more fiscal conservatism, conservation. Yeah, basically help people be a little more fiscally conservative, which I think is a good thing. Um, and then, different brokerages like Robinhood, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade. What else have I got? Oh man, I can't remember all of them right now. Anyways, yeah, so I want to split Friday into two, do two on Friday. That way I can kind of get through stuff a little more quickly and feel good about promoting stuff or at least reviewing stuff. Like I don't have favorable views of all companies and products I use. Some of them are mediocre or straight up maybe kind of bad actually. Not gonna say which is which. Yeah, but also feel a little less guilty about just doing those and also pushing out like useful tips and tricks, content. Um, Speaking of which, oh God, what was I think the Money Guys? I recently encountered, the Money Guys show. There's a lot of content out there that's, about like trading, saving, and money related stuff, right? And I recently found one that I feel like is really solid. I would like to watch more of them. It's called The Money Guys Show, and they cover a lot of like solid topics and a very fundamental idea, and I love it. It's but it's still pretty entertaining. But yeah, they talk about everything, IRAs, how to save money, how much money the average American has saved up to a certain when you're like 20 versus 30 versus 40. They go into different situations like what are the questions you should ask yourself before you quit a job? What would you need to do to become a millionaire by a certain age? Just, it covers everything money related, and I feel like a very non clickbaity in a useful way. So, again, not sponsored by them, but I'm always looking for free resources that are educational. I think this is a solid one, at least from the stuff I've seen so far. So I would say, yeah, hit them up on. I've only seen them on YouTube. I don't know where else they are. I haven't looked into that. But yeah. And then for Sunday, man, would I love to get out actual running videos, especially things like what is I mean this isn't that complicated. Forefoot striking versus midfoot and heel striking, because you're gonna have the visual, right? Or difference in kicks between what a sprinter does and what a long distance runner does. How to run faster, and obviously it's something like that. You figure, okay, well, how fast I run is based on cadence and stride length, right? How quickly am I going through these steps? How far does each step take me? If I just up both, then I go faster, and that's technically true, but there are different ways to um, promote both, and there's certain limitations. Like for example, even the top runners in the world, if I remember correctly, peak at a certain cadence. So at that point, like the top runners in the world, they were beating other top runners usually because of stride length, aka they can kick harder. So, for example, it makes sense that Usain Bolt was such a prolific and amazing runner. Granted, it's difficult for him to get a start because so Usain Bolt, one of the best runners of all time, events 100 through I believe the 400, but he definitely dominated the 100 and 200-meter races while he was active. But the crazy thing is, he's super tall, and once he gets to peak speed, right, because of his long legs, each stride he can go farther. But it's extremely difficult for him to get started in the 100, right? When you're all scrunched up coming off the ground, it's hard to get that engine going um, when you're so tall. So it's amazing that he ever was able to. And if you want to think about it in terms of like biking, it's kind of like, you know, you're doing a sprint against someone else and they're biking on like 2.5 and you're biking on like 3.7. You know, once you get going, if you're 3.7, um, yeah, of course you're gonna be going faster. You got a higher peak. You got a higher peak speed, but in the very beginning, you're coming from a standstill to from 3.7. You're not gonna get anywhere for a while. It's hard. That 2.5 is gonna beat you from the get go as long as they know what they're doing. Um, but he was able to basically start from 3.7, keep up in the beginning, and then they get to peak speed, he whoops them. Anyways, these are just some thoughts I'm having right now about how the week is going to go in terms of podcasting and hopefully a return to video making for any topics that are relevant. Anyways, if you listen to all of this, thank you for listening. I know you're one of the very few listeners I've got right now. I appreciate it. And even if you're doing it just because you're bored, because you're my friend, actually, no, don't do it just because you're my friend. I don't want to do stuff. I hate when people have to do stuff out of obligation because they're friends or family. Like, be friends and do stuff together that you enjoy. If it's not something you enjoy, you can still be friends, but do stuff together that you actually like, right? Like, I got some friends, if they like, I don't know, no offense to this, but like, I have a group on Sunday I talk to. They love, a lot of them are into musicals. They participate, make partake, enjoy, watch musicals, and I mostly not really into it. But, we do things that aren't musical related, right? I would hope that they never force me to do anything musical related. And for my friends who don't like sports, I would hope I never like force them to participating in sports that they don't like. So if you're listening, I hope this is at least somewhat entertaining and or educational for you. If not, get the fuck off my podcast. This is David of Self Improvement Dave, and this is my hopefully regular Wednesday podcast. If you got any thoughts, let me know. Bye.